Every morning, millions of people around the world wake up and begin their day as usual. But at that very same moment, thousands of others, particularly older adults, suddenly find themselves unable to move one side of their body, unable to speak clearly, or so dizzy that they collapse without knowing why. A stroke, for many, does not strike with the dramatic force often seen in movies. In real life, it comes quietly, silently. It often begins with subtle shifts, a slight dizziness when sitting up, an unsteady step, or a vague sense that something feels off in the first few minutes of the day. Many people dismiss these early signs, thinking, I probably just didn't sleep well, or it's just part of getting older. But the truth is, those brief moments may be your brain's first cry for help, a gentle alarm signaling that something serious is happening inside. If you're over 60 or caring for an aging parent or loved one, now is the time to pause and start paying closer attention to what happens each morning. Because with just a few small changes to your morning routine, you could significantly lower the risk of stroke, one of the leading causes of death and long-term disability in seniors worldwide.
Getting up too fast, a small habit with serious risks. Do you tend to jump out of bed the moment you open your eyes? Sit up and stand right away without a second thought? It may feel natural, but for older adults, this is one of the most common and dangerous mistakes made in the first minutes of the day. After 6 to 8 hours of deep sleep, your body enters a fully rested state. Blood pressure drops, heart rate slows down, and blood circulation decreases, especially to the brain. When you move too quickly from lying down to standing, your cardiovascular system doesn't have time to adjust, and not enough blood reaches the brain. This leads to a condition called orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure upon standing, which is incredibly common among older adults, but often ignored. You may feel lightheaded, your vision may blur for a few seconds, your legs might feel weak, or in some cases you might even faint. What's happening in that moment is that your brain is temporarily deprived of oxygen. And in someone with aging arteries or poor circulation, that single moment could be enough to trigger a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, or worse, a full-blown stroke. But here's the good news. The solution is simple and surprisingly powerful. The next time you wake up, don't rush to get out of bed. Lie still for 1 more minute. Take a few deep breaths. Gently stretch your arms and legs, then slowly sit up and place your feet on the floor. Sit upright, close your eyes, and breathe evenly for another 30 seconds. Then, and only then, stand up carefully. That 1 extra minute each morning may become the most valuable 60 seconds of your day. A quiet act of self-care that protects your brain, your balance, and your independence.
Skipping water. Your brain changes within minutes of waking up. While you sleep, your body continues to lose water silently through breathing, sweating, and cellular activity. After 7 to 8 hours without a single sip, you wake up in a state of mild dehydration, even if you don't feel it clearly. But just because you don't sense it doesn't mean your body isn't affected. Older adults are naturally more prone to dehydration due to age-related declines in kidney function and a reduced sense of thirst. This creates a dangerous combination. Your body loses water more easily, but you don't feel thirsty. As a result, your blood becomes thicker, circulation slows, and your brain, the organ most sensitive to dehydration, begins to suffer first. Poor concentration, slower reflexes, dizziness, or even confusion. Even more concerning, If you take diuretics or heart medications, as many people over 60 do, you lose even more fluid during the night without realizing it. With thicker blood and slower circulation, your risk of developing blood clots, thrombi, increases significantly, and these are one of the most common causes of early morning strokes. The solution is simple, yet surprisingly powerful. As soon as you wake up, before coffee, medications, or breakfast, drink a glass of room temperature water. No ice, no sugar, no additives, just plain water. That first glass of water helps reawaken your circulation, naturally thins your blood, supports oxygen delivery to the brain, and allows you to start your day feeling clearer, more alert, and more balanced. Your brain will thank you all day long.
Part 4. A high-sodium breakfast, the hidden threat to your brain. Every morning, many older adults begin their day with meals that seem healthy. A bowl of oatmeal, a slice of toast, a few pieces of sausage, or some scrambled eggs with cheese. These foods look familiar, convenient, and are often marketed as good for you. But here's what most people don't realize. Many of these popular breakfast items are loaded with hidden sodium, the kind of salt you can't taste clearly, but that enters your body quietly and consistently every single day. What's particularly important to note is that shortly after waking up, a person's blood pressure naturally tends to rise as part of the body's circadian rhythm. This is a normal response designed to help deliver blood to the brain and prepare the body for daily activity. However, when you begin your day with a breakfast high in sodium, right at that sensitive moment, that mild rise in blood pressure can be pushed beyond safe limits. And when that happens, especially in individuals with aging or hardened arteries, the consequence can be a stroke.
Sodium isn't just found in the salt shaker on the table. It hides in countless processed foods, including flavored instant oats, commercial breads, granola bars, sausages, deli meats, and even so-called whole grain items marketed as healthy. A seemingly simple breakfast can easily introduce over 500 milligrams of sodium into your body, which exceeds the safe daily limit for older adults, especially when combined with the natural morning spike in blood pressure. To reduce this risk, you don't have to completely give up your favorite breakfast foods, you just need to prepare them differently. Choose plain, unflavored oats and top them with fresh fruits and unsalted nuts. Instead of fried eggs with cheese or processed meats like sausage, go for boiled eggs with avocado or steamed greens. If you eat bread, opt for a low-sodium variety and avoid pairing it with salty deli meats or high-sodium spreads. With just a few small adjustments to your breakfast, you can cut hundreds of milligrams of sodium from your diet each day, relieve pressure on the delicate blood vessels in your brain, and help stabilize your blood pressure during the morning hours, when the body is already in a sensitive state. These simple choices can help you prevent not only strokes, but also age-related cognitive decline and balance issues, which are increasingly common in older adults.
Coffee on an empty stomach, alertness, or arterial stress. For many people, a morning cup of coffee feels absolutely essential. It's like a daily ritual, warm, aromatic, and energizing. But if you're over 60, there's something you should pay close attention to. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach immediately after waking can silently increase your stroke risk, especially if you have underlying issues like high blood pressure, heart disease, or impaired blood flow to the brain. After a long night's sleep, your body enters a slightly dehydrated state, with lower blood pressure and a slower heart rate. If you drink coffee right away, caffeine stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, causing your heart to beat faster, your blood vessels to constrict, and your blood pressure to rise rapidly in a short time. This sudden physiological jolt
is no small matter, especially for arteries that are already weakened, stiffened, or narrowed with age. During the first minutes of the day when your brain is already low on oxygen and circulation hasn't yet stabilized, a caffeine-induced spike in blood pressure can lead to heart rhythm disturbances, transient ischemic attacks, mini-strokes, or in some cases, trigger a full-blown stroke.
This doesn't mean you have to give up coffee entirely. When used correctly, coffee can still offer benefits. The key lies in timing and preparation. Start your morning with a glass of water to rehydrate after the night. Then have a light breakfast, something simple like a boiled egg, some fruit, or a slice of whole grain bread. Only after that, once your body is fully awake, should you enjoy a moderate cup of coffee. Avoid drinking multiple cups in a row and limit the use of sugar, condensed milk, or heavy cream, since these can trigger inflammation and increase strain on your blood vessels. What's important to understand is that your body at age 60 does not respond the same way it did at 40. What worked for you in the past may no longer be appropriate now. If you find yourself needing 2 or 3 cups of coffee just to feel awake, the issue may not be the coffee itself, but something deeper, like poor sleep, dehydration, or early signs of an undiagnosed health condition. Listening to your body each morning, starting with gentle, supportive choices, and giving coffee its proper time and place. This is how you stay alert while still protecting your brain in a safe and sustainable way.
The strange morning signals you might have ignored. Have you ever woken up feeling just a little off? Not anything obvious or dramatic, but something that simply didn't feel right? Maybe your mind felt foggy for a few minutes. Your speech wasn't as clear. Your arms or legs felt slightly weak, or you felt unsteady as you stepped out of bed. Or perhaps it was just a vague sense of not feeling well that you couldn't quite explain. These subtle, hazy moments are easy to dismiss. You might tell yourself it's just from a bad night's sleep, the way you were lying, or simply aging. But the truth is, those moments might be your brain's first quiet warning, gentle, silent, but profoundly serious. In people over 60, even small disruptions in blood flow to the brain can lead to transient symptoms known as transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs.
These episodes usually last from a few minutes to about an hour, and typically don't cause permanent damage right away. But they are not harmless. On the contrary, a TIA is the brain's clearest red flag, a signal that you are in a danger zone. And without action, a full-blown stroke could occur just days or weeks later. Sadly, many people have experienced TIAs in the morning without even realizing it, either because the symptoms disappeared quickly or because they didn't think it was anything serious. This is exactly why strokes in older adults often seem to come without warning, because the warning signs were already there and ignored. The solution is not fear, but greater awareness. If you've ever experienced brief dizziness, sudden weakness in your arms or legs that quickly resolved, or slurred speech that disappeared after a few minutes, don't ignore it. Write down when it happened, exactly how it felt, and mention it to your doctor at your next appointment. Today, there are many simple tools, apps, digital trackers, or even paper health journals that can help you monitor these subtle morning changes. Don't wait for the symptoms to come back or get worse. When it comes to strokes, every minute matters. Every minute you spend listening to your body is a minute you are actively protecting your brain.
These episodes usually last from a few minutes to about an hour, and typically don't cause permanent damage right away. But they are not harmless. On the contrary, a TIA is the brain's clearest red flag, a signal that you are in a danger zone. And without action, a full-blown stroke could occur just days or weeks later.
Sadly, many people have experienced TIAs in the morning without even realizing it, either because the symptoms disappeared quickly or because they didn't think it was anything serious. This is exactly why strokes in older adults often seem to come without warning, because the warning signs were already there and ignored. The solution is not fear, but greater awareness. If you've ever experienced brief dizziness, sudden weakness in your arms or legs that quickly resolved, or slurred speech that disappeared after a few minutes, don't ignore it. Write down when it happened, exactly how it felt, and mention it to your doctor at your next appointment. Today, there are many simple tools, apps, digital trackers, or even paper health journals that can help you monitor these subtle morning changes. Don't wait for the symptoms to come back or get worse. When it comes to strokes, every minute matters. Every minute you spend listening to your body is a minute you are actively protecting your brain. The good news is that this risk is completely manageable with just a few simple steps. Use a pill organizer labeled by day and time. Set a reminder alarm on your phone if needed. Choose a fixed time every morning, such as right after brushing your teeth or before breakfast, to make your routine consistent. Never adjust your dosage without your doctor's approval, even if you feel fine or your symptoms seem to have improved. Always take your medications with plain water. Avoid taking them with coffee, fruit juice, or strong tea, as these beverages can interfere with how your body absorbs the medicine. And never hesitate to ask your doctor or pharmacist any question, no matter how small it may seem. There's no such thing as a trivial question when it comes to protecting your life and memory. Don't let a daily habit, repeated over the years, become a silent threat to your health. Make sure your morning medication routine is truly a brain-protecting action, not something that unintentionally increases pressure on it.
Part 8. Delaying your morning bathroom trip, a harmless habit that may raise blood pressure and stroke risk. Each morning, as soon as you wake up, you may feel the urge to urinate. But instead of getting up right away, you might choose to lie in bed a little longer, scrolling through your phone, checking the weather, or waiting until after your morning coffee to go to the bathroom. Most of us have done this at some point, thinking that a short delay doesn't matter. But for those over 60, postponing that first bathroom trip isn't just a habit. It may place real physiological stress on your heart and brain. After a long night, your bladder is full and ready to release. If you hold it in, your body interprets this as a form of stress and responds by releasing stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones cause your blood vessels to constrict, your heart rate to rise, and, most importantly, your blood pressure to spike quickly.
When this happens at a time when your blood pressure is already elevated due to natural circadian rhythms, the combination can create a pressure wave that strikes the walls of delicate brain arteries, especially fragile capillaries, making them more prone to damage or rupture. For people with existing cardiovascular conditions or hypertension, regularly holding in urine upon waking may silently and significantly increase the risk of stroke, irregular heartbeat, or chronic unexplained morning headaches. And it doesn't stop there. Retaining urine also creates prolonged internal tension, which activates the sympathetic nervous system. This can leave you feeling anxious, tired, and unfocused, a poor way to start the day. In some older adults with valvular heart disease or conduction abnormalities, the physical pressure from an overfilled bladder can even trigger cardiac arrhythmias, which are closely tied to transient ischemic attacks, or TIAs. The good news is that this risk can be reduced easily with just one small change. Make going to the bathroom your first priority each morning, before drinking water, taking medication, or even reaching for your phone. Think of it as your body's natural way of releasing unnecessary pressure, allowing your heart and brain to start the day in a state of calm and balance.
7 small morning habits that could save your brain and your life. A stroke doesn't happen by chance. It's not just bad luck or simply a side effect of aging. In truth, many strokes begin with small, seemingly harmless habits we repeat every morning, like jumping out of bed too quickly, ignoring our body's thirst after sleep, taking medications incorrectly, or delaying a natural urge like going to the bathroom. These small actions, when done once or twice, may not cause harm, but over time, repeated day after day, they quietly create ongoing pressure on your blood vessels, your heart, and especially your brain, the most delicate organ in your body. If there's one thing you choose to change starting tomorrow, let it be something that shows yourself a little more care. And if this video helped you recognize a habit that needs attention, please share your thoughts in the comments. Because what you've just realized may be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now.